Hi, I'm Shulin, a multidimensional coach devoted to helping you remember who you are and move forward with clarity, purpose, and inspired action. My work blends grounded coaching with intuition-based tools like Reiki, astrology, channeling, and Akashic healing. I hold a space of sacred neutrality where you can hear your soul clearly and take aligned, heart-led action. Inside this space, we explore your purpose, intuition, relationships, goals, and what's truly calling you forward. Today, I'm joined by Laura, and I'm so honored that she agreed to share a glimpse of her multidimensional journey and our work together with you. Hi, Laura.
Hey, Shulin.
Thanks
Nice
for
to
being
talk.
here.
I love being here with you.
Yay. Well, I always like to start with how we know each other. How did we originally connect or come to know each other? Do you want to speak to that?
Yes. We met through a mutual friend, Mary Kate, who's fabulous. And Mary Kate would just always go on and on and on about you until one day I'm like, who is this Shulin person? And then I met you, and when you meet people of the same ilk or who are in the same vibration, or there's just something about them. As soon as I met you, I felt like I knew you I've known you for 1,000 years. And those are my favorite friendships that form quickly. Not because they're like forced or desperate, but because it's so cozy. I'm like, I can just be myself around this person. They're curious, they're empathetic, they're thoughtful, they're a healer, they're so smart, so fabulous, and it was just easy to connect with you, and the rest was history. I just there was this just in a moment we became friends, and it was forever ago, but it's also felt like it had been 1,000 years since I've known you. So that's
I agree. I agree. It was very, very natural when we came together and connected. And so in our evolution of friendship, at a certain point, we also started working together because I did a session for you and then actually some family members, which we'll get to. But do you want to talk about, or would you speak about what was happening in your life when we ended up doing an astrology session together?
Oh, chaos. It was swirling emotions, and something that you've known about me, and even before we had sessions together, you've been teaching me about, which is just like to trust myself and curb my anxiety, because I ruminate on things, and I will fall very quickly into this anxiety tailspin, where I catastrophize. And if I'm confronted with an obstacle, I will come up with 50 reasons or scenarios where I fail, and usually maybe one scenario where I succeed. And so you've taught me so much about kind of trusting myself and the universe and where I am in it and what is mine and what is, already exists for me. Everything's inside of me, and really trusting myself. So it has calmed that voice. But I would say, when I had my session with you last year, I was in transition between career and where I was living, and trying to figure out the next step, like where am I going next? And I was feeling sort of like tinges of anxiety, and the spiral was so close, and I was like, so when we met, you kind of you went over my astrological birth chart, which first of all, I have to say I'm a type of person who's deeply curious. And set the table before we began, because I never received a birth chart reading before, or an astrological reading. It was new to me, but I was very curious. And you set the table. You also let me choose my own adventure in terms of like how much I wanted to know about the process, in which I said, sign me up. I want to know everything about what's going on with astrology, and how you're arriving at these decisions. So I learned so much. You walked me through the chart, what everything meant, and that everything that I am and will be it's already in me. It's already laid out. And the path forward, it was heartening because, you know, when I focus on the unknown in chaos tailspin Laura brain, which is a defense mechanism from a chaotic childhood, I kind of like grab a hold of that. I was like, everything's already set out before me. And there's a lot of awesome things, that gifts that I already have, that I have taken hold of and I use. But you pointed out gifts that I kind of know are in the background, but when you mentioned them, I was like, okay, I haven't tapped into those, and I need to. I want to discover them and kind of like open myself up to the rest of my path and trust that everything, it's all mine, and I have a lot to offer the world, and I just have to trust. And the chart, it just laid everything out in not in black and white. It was rainbow astrology colors. I was so excited. And it just helped me to move forward. I got to, put aside my worries and just focus on those little seeds that I can plant going forward and see, because it's all there. I just need to, with intention, make intentional changes or take intentional action and not worry about the outcome so much, just to know that whatever is mine is coming to me, and I'm just going to take little steps, see what happens. So that's a mouthful, but yes, that was my experience.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. And I love that you bring up the concept of seeds because that's really how I like to see also the chart. Like you said, you were new to the astrology chart and new to astrology reading. And I always, because of readings that I've had in the past before I really came into the understanding of the language of astrology, I never really understood like why people were saying what they were saying. So that's why I also, for those who are interested, like yourself, I like to include a little bit of orientation to the chart, walk you through so that you can also feel empowered to understand why it's coming through, what's coming through. Sometimes there's some channeled insights with the astrology reading, but also it's just information based on your chart. And the way I like to look at the chart is it's like a map of the stars at the time that you were born, right? But it's also like if you were to take a seed of a flower, that seed has all the information built into it. So the same for us, right? Your soul came into this human body and has all the information that it needs, including the strengths, the gifts, the talents, and also the challenges that grow us, right? So it was what I got from what you shared also is it sounds like it helped you kind of step back a little bit from, like you said, the spiraling and the worry and the insecurity to know that actually everything happening in your life is in service to you. It's just a matter of how to leverage it and know that everything is written in a certain way, not as if, there's only one way that your life is going to go, but having more self-awareness, more self-knowledge of what you've came into this lifetime with, all your tools, all your gifts, all your challenges, everything that's going to help you grow and evolve. You have it all inside of you, and it's just a matter of you navigating that and working with it. And it sounds like that's what you were able to do with the reading.
Yes, 100%. And I have rewatched you recorded our session, and I will rewatch it if I feel like I'm getting too close to the edge of spiraling again. I'm like, let me just remind myself, who I am, what my gifts are, what's coming, and then I'm always fine. Like if I'm unless I'm in sort of mortal peril, there's everything's going to be fine. It's like I don't have to worry that much. And I was saying to you earlier, I was on a call with my coworker Ifra today, and I asked her what her intentions were for her new year, and she talked about like not reacting and not worrying, kind of adopting a more stoic mindset, which is something within reason I'd like to like. This helps me with sort of like stoic principles to like calm down. It's like whatever's put in my path, the obstacle is the way I can get around it. It's like it's there and it's going to help me get to the next level instead of looking at it. It's the end. So Ifra, I was talking to her and I mentioned you just today, Shulin. I was like, my friend Shulin told me something that like unlocked a lot of things for me. And I share this quote with people all the time and I always give you credit. And it's energy flows where your attention goes, because I'm also prone to with my analysis paralysis when I'm like looking at every angle. I then it's hard for me to go forward and act because I've considered everything and like what do I do next? There are all these directions I can go. There's 500 steps I have to take tomorrow to get to all these different points in the destination. And I remember you told me just like, I have limited bandwidth, just like whatever I'm focusing on, I put energy in. I will get there. It might not be exactly the way I imagined it, but I will get to that destination, and just to trust it and just focus on one thing instead of spreading myself thin, being like, I have to do it all. It's like, no, just focus on that one thing that you want to move towards and you'll have it. And you know what? The crazy thing is, I was hesitant at first because before I did a session, you told me this years ago, and it's one of the things. This is why I tell so many people. It like transformed my world because I have a fear of taking action based on like FOMO, pretty much like, what if I need to be over here and over there? I need to do it all, and then you end up doing nothing. So I love to share that phrase with people because it gives me a lot of like clarity and foundation just to like just do one little thing. Again, planting the seed. And I love that you talk about seeds because it's like just do one little thing is better than nothing. And it's surprising. All the seeds that I planted years ago, every single one came to fruition, not in a way that I could have imagined, but in some ways better. And it's crazy because my old way of operating was not to do anything at all and just worry, which didn't get me anywhere. So um,
Mhm.
yeah, it kind of
Yeah.
unlocked things for me.
You know, you're reminding me of a really fun exercise we did. What was it in 2022? I think it was 22222, right? It was February 22nd, 2022. And we pulled, I happened to have two, don't ask me why, two huge whiteboards, right? And we pulled them out and we both wrote out our intentions and basically planted our seeds, right? At
We
that
did.
time.
I
Yeah.
love that day. Thank you for reminding me. It
Mhm.
also, you know, in most instances, and they were mainly scholastic, when I saw a whiteboard, it would like kind of, I'd be like, I have to memorize whatever you're writing down. But this was the first time I saw a whiteboard. It was like, yes, this is so much fun. Let's get to
I
it.
know we rewrote our relationship with whiteboards. So, and I love that too, what you're saying, because I was just talking about that with someone earlier about focusing energy and really energy being like water. So when water has a clear channel to flow through, it'll just go right there. But if there are leaks or if there's not a clear channel, it'll just go wherever it has space to go. So when we can direct our energy in a very focused way, and that's where I tend to find an astrology chart can come in very handy because it can kind of give focus for really what your unique traits and characteristics are. And it's not to say that you're bound by those at all, but I remember you sharing with me when we had the session just the clarity that you were experiencing about some of your gifts and your talents. And I'm just curious if you want to say a little bit more about, just what stood out to you, what shifted for you from going through that session to after into your life.
I think one of the things that really struck me is the gift that I always bury, which is like communication and teaching others and like the sharing communication. To me, it comes so easily as a loquacious person who can't stop talking. That I'm like, oh, it's easy for everyone. Like that's not a gift. That's just like, it's like breathing. It doesn't matter. And you reminded me that it's a wonderful gift and not everybody has it. And it just like someone else I meet on the street who's not, maybe communication isn't their strong suit, they have gifts that I don't have. And it's like, wow, that's so cool about you. And it's like I forget to look at me. I'm like, okay, that's my cool gift. You take it for granted every day. um and Q4, I work in a corporate environment and it's very stressful, Q4. And we were building an AI readable workflow for human and chatbot agents. And it was excruciatingly difficult and intense. And I would be on 3-hour calls with process specialists and we're trying to pretty much soft code all these workflows. And it was not fun, but every single one of the process specialists I work with said that I was their favorite person to work with, that it was so easy to work with, that it was fun, it was easy to talk to me. And I take it, and I mention this not just to brag, but because I forget that that's my gift, and I'm always getting feedback from people, and I'm always like, whatever, it's just communication. It's like, no, it's communication. And when it was in my chart, I was like, oh, that's like a great gift, and you need to like, use it for good, obviously.
Mhm.
But also just I would say the chart really helps you appreciate gifts that one has, not in a narcissistic way, just that I think so often, especially women, or at least how I was raised, you're taught to be like almost like look down upon yourself or be humble and like, oh, don't talk a lot about yourself or think about yourself. And it's sort of like that muscle in me had atrophied just to like love myself and be like, Laura, that's so dang cool. Those are all your skills and talents. And those are Shulin's skills and talents over there. And that's like, Ifra's talents over there. And they're also unique and it's beautiful. And yeah, celebrate it. So it did help me celebrate and really like recognize like, wow, I'm lucky that I can communicate. So much so that I don't even let the host speak because I'm on a monologue here. So
No,
Elaine.
that's wonderful. I think you really make the point to it. So there's self-appreciation when you can actually see yourself and see certain things about you. There's also knowing what you have in your toolkit of you and then being able to use that. There's another quote that I love. I love quotes. So another one that is having means nothing unless you know how to use it, right? But you even need to know that you have it. And when you know that you have it, you can actually utilize those gifts like you're talking about. Well, you know you have the strength of communication, somebody else has this strength, somebody else has that strength, and then you know how to organize those gifts together to work on whatever project you're working on or achieve whatever goal you're looking to achieve. So there's absolutely, I think I see that a lot with clients where there's the first initial layer of like seeing yourself for the first time, right? It's almost like looking in a mirror in a way, but then as I see the wheels starting to turn, where it's not only acknowledging and appreciating the gifts that we have, but then realizing, oh, wait a second, I have this. And then it's like, this is how I can really be using this and apply this and really amplify, to better your life, other people's lives, and to really serve. So yeah, that's great. Um, so I know you were super jazzed and you're such a good student also, because even after, what was it, like a year, it may have been a year and a half at this point since we had that session, but I remember you were so excited. You were watching the video again, really taking from it because, of course, things land differently as we grow and evolve. We can go back and look at something like that and get something new from it. But then you ended up connecting me and gifting sessions to your family. Do you want to just talk a little bit about like why were you motivated to do that?
Well, I had such a wonderful experience, and there are two people in particular in my life that I know had voiced, they were in one case they were looking for clarity in terms of like a big career versus like starting a family, starting like they were on the cusp and they weren't sure what to do. So when she was talking to me about this matter, I was like, oh, I know the person. Um, and then the other individual, I think just I always want to remind them that they are loved and they are so skilled and talented. And I just wanted them to be grounded in that, to be able to use their skills and just like enjoy the session, which it was sort of like a spa day treat, almost like transformative one. But I was like, this person really deserves and can use something that's just going to like open them up, sort of like this sort of balm, but also kind of again like let the seeds blossom, like the seeds are there kind of like helping that person blossom.
Mm.
um and I know in for the individual who's on the cusp of the career, you gave them a lot of clarity. They wanted to pursue something else and they decided that at that point in their life, they decided to go down a completely different path, but you helped give them clarity and they couldn't go on they were going on about how just wonderful it is just to meet you and talk with you. And your skill also, as you have so many skills, but also just in career coaching in terms of I will say, since I've known you, you are an active listener, which is a skill that not many people have. So you've always had this ability to just really, really listen to people and let that person know they're listening. So they have all this pent up inside them and they can kind of like let it spill forth, and you help them sort through everything and find clarity. So that was the gift that I wanted to share with the loved ones. I was like, just let it all out and see how, what the feedback is, see how, the advisement and how it's arranged. And then, it's a great way to move forward, to feel kind of like grounded in what you need to do with your life, and to just remember how special you are. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah, I was really honored by that. And thank you so much for the acknowledgement. I know I have my human resource background of about, I don't remember if it was like 10, 14 years, something like that. Now it's of the past, but it does come into play with the life coaching and sort of career coaching, like you said. And now with the intuition work and just really holding a space for people to kind of hear and see themselves because there's such power in that. And I loved that you were so moved by the astrology session. And then it was interesting because you had purchase that for your family members. And then, of course, as it goes, every person's session is so unique and individual. I think one of them we didn't even end up really going to her chart because it was much more of a sort of intuitive career coaching session. And yeah, so I'm so glad to hear that it was meaningful for all of you. Yeah, and it was very special to come together with people that were connected in your life as well. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for that reflection back. And so I'm just curious, what would you say to someone who might be feeling drawn to this work, but maybe also a little hesitant or unsure?
I would say, you know, just dive in. It can't hurt you. If anything, maybe it's a fear of finding something so beautiful within yourself. It's terrifying. I don't know. Maybe that's a reason, but truly you will, I mean, just hanging out with you is a treat. But I would say, because, I had never had an astrological reading or had my chart done. So, you know, and it wasn't even, I wasn't personally skeptical either. I just was like, oh, this is something new to me. I don't know much about it. But I would just say to keep an open mind, and that, you adapt and understand, and you're so intuitive with people. I mean, no matter what background the person is coming from or their beliefs, I feel like you are able to adapt to that, and to sort of understand what that person actually needs, and act as the mirror to share with them what they need to hear in a language that speaks to them. So, on the scale of like complete woo woo to like more pragmatic, I know personally that you're really good at meeting the person where they are. So even if they're skeptical, it's like there's it's such a beautiful session. And it's like, even if you're the most pragmatic, empirical person on earth and you don't want to go anywhere near woo woo, it's like, how can it hurt to have someone tell you all the wonderful things about you, and sort of like heighten your sense of self, and sort of have this dialogue in terms of like, part of it's also a dialogue. You're opening up the chart and you're talking about what's there, but in our session, you also talked about where I want to go with it and how I feel about it. So it was a dialogue, and it kind of you kind of drew a lot to the surface that was boiling underneath. So, for those who are not as skeptical, I would say it's like a very, and you like having astrological readings and you're familiar with it, I would say that you lend your own special brand of just genuine, again, the act of listening, and you're just 110% present for the person. And I think in a digital age of distraction and really, quick gratification, like in social media, I think it's like, what is it, like 4 seconds is the average attention span, of a person. So to have someone locked in and paying attention to you as a human being, it's an incredible experience. And it's kind of a rare experience in this like modern digital age. So it kind of grounds you. And you're like, oh my gosh, she sees me, she's paying attention to me, she's listening to me, and she has great advice. anything that I lobbed at you, even if it's because I have a really tangential brain that's all over the place, whatever I lobbed at a left field at you, you took it and you worked with it and you had insights into it. I was like, oh, that makes sense. So I would say your active listening, your presence, and just your deep knowledge of, the charts, and your like willingness to get to know that person and really connect with them. It's deeply felt, and it's a transformative session, and I was energized and really excited. And again, because I have the recording, if I'm feeling down, I'll go listen to it. I'm like, that's who you are, darn it, Laura, there you are, it's written in the stars. So yeah, I would say it's going to open you up and prep you for like the next phase of whatever you need to do, whatever you need to launch in, and whatever you need to hear, you're going to hear it in that session. So
That's awesome, Laura. And I'm so glad that you use it when you're feeling low or like just you need a little boost. I'm so glad that you have that for yourself and that the recording is one of your tools now. I love that. And thank you. Thank you for all of that acknowledgement. That's amazing. Really, your presence, your words are really a gift. And is there anything else that you want to share before we start to wrap up?
I would say I just wanted to thank you for or thank the universe for putting you in my path in my life. Again, I think of you all the time and your words of wisdom, and how you have how your teachings and just your presence have literally transformed my life. Like I was in a stagnant world of fear and anxiety. And I just recall now, because it was over a year and a half ago when you read my chart, because I was on the cusp of like getting a new job, and I was going to go either one direction, which in my head I thought, because it was with Amazon, I was like, I'm like, oh, it has that, it's a FANG company, it has that name, versus like something that had a company that are already given me an offer, and I was like, well, they're not as well known, so I was like really torn, and I was I didn't know what to do, so I was paralyzed. And you you just calmed me down, and there was a lot of, it was almost like a zen like state of clarity after them. It's like, it's all going to be okay. It's all already written. No matter what I choose, there's no wrong choice. Like, I will still be on the path of where I need to go. So you really helped me to you know throughout our friendship, just ground me, and by example as well. But you also are a lover of words and phrases. Like, words and phrases really stick with me, and I share your words of wisdom all the time with people, and they always really like them. They're like, oh, that's pithy, I like that. I'm like, yep, it's for my friend Shulin. It's like, it's yours now, have fun with it, use it. So I
Although
do.
I won't take quite, even though I'm a passer alonger of words because they're not necessarily my original quotes. Maybe I should start to collect my originals. But in any case, thank you. I really, really appreciate that, and I'm so glad that that could be supportive for you. And I love that because I always say our stories become each other's lifelines, but also, it could be a quote or a phrase or, like you said, some pithy statement from somebody that just keeps us going.
Yep, it's an
Yeah.
anchor. Like, oh,
Yeah, it is. It truly is on the spiritual path. I know, I know. So thank you so much. It's such a gift to be here with you today. Um, so if you're watching this and you're feeling the pull, I do offer soul guidance sessions, which do can include an astrological reading if that's something you're interested in, or could just be an intuitive session. Also mentorships, coaching containers, and you can reach out or explore more at my website, shulinaurora.com. Thanks, Laura.
thanks, Shulin.